Hello everybody, how you guys doing today? Welcome to stream. Gonna go ahead and get started. So we got Tyranids to paint today. We're gonna get right to it because I am a little late getting into stream. So let's jump right in. What's up, Misfit? How you doing? So we have blue. We have one more coat of blue put on these guys, and it's just an edge highlight. I tested on this leg. It might be a little difficult to see. Weird lighting, but we're gonna get moving. I adjust it in a little bit, see if I can't make it a little better, but we're just taking a detail brush and we're going around very edges of the carapace. How's everybody's week been? Hope you guys have had a good week. I may or may not have fallen asleep this morning after putting my son on the bus. It may or may not be the reason why we're almost an hour late to stream. Yeah, yesterday was Painting Son's birthday, so he still had to go to school, but we did celebrate. It was actually a pretty busy evening for him, but it was cool. It was really cool. If I step on edge highlighting, I'm terrible. Yeah, edge highlighting isn't not usually the most exciting thing. The big thing about edge highlighting is, in my recommendation, don't do it a lot, but when you do it, like I'm doing on this carapace here, use the side of your brush at like a 90-degree angle from what you're painting. So we have the leg there, I have my brush, and I'm going to drag it across the edge like this. And that's it. There's edge highlighting 101, use the side of your brush. A little bit of paint. You know, not too much paint. Rinse your brush frequently. You know, I'm going to tell you something, Desirant, about Tau, about painting Tau. You pick a color you're going to paint first. So I would pick like the like the skeleton kind of part of all the battle suits and everything. But you pick a part, and that first thing you want to paint, instead of edge highlighting it, you dry brush it. So like the cloth on the Fire Warriors, the like skeleton on the on all the battle suits, that kind of under part, dry brush that. You won't have to edge highlight. When you get to the armor plating, I'm making mistakes. It's okay if I make some mistakes on this one though. Armor plating, you can still dry brush as long as you're being careful. Just think about where you want the, you know, your quote-unquote highlight to be, and brush from that direction. You know, you want it to be just on the top, so brush from the top down with your dry brush, and just be careful. You know, take your time, use a smaller dry brush than you might normally use, and you'll get a decent highlight on it. You'll get a good highlight. Almost my first mini in decades. That's awesome. That is awesome. What kind of mini you painting, Misfit? So my Pro Acryl paints, I put them in a wet palette and I don't thin them. If you're working with another brand of paints, Games Workshop, Vallejo, Army Painter, you're gonna want to thin your paints. But just a little bit, enough to get like I don't know, consistency of like a heavy cream, not like 2% milk or whatever. If we're talking about consistencies, you want good consistency so it holds on to the brush and it'll sit where you're painting it, but you want it to flow really nicely. So hardest part is getting back into the hobby is Not choosing to paint to collect minis. To collect minis, yeah. Oh, paints, yeah, collecting paints, yeah. My nephew is getting into 40K, into the hobby and stuff. I tried to convince him to get into 30K, but those 40K Dark Angels, and I'm gonna buy his first paints and brushes for him. What I am doing, I'm gonna pick out like 8 colors from the Pro Acryl line, and I'm gonna buy him those, and then I'm gonna buy him 2 brushes. I'm gonna buy him a number 2 and a number 1 brush from Monument Hobbies, from their Sable brush line. So he has 2 nicer brushes, and I'm gonna give him some brush cleaner. So that's what I'm doing. And you know, he might maybe a cheap set of brushes also, like some synthetics to some easier things. He needs a brush he can dry brush with without destroying his nice ones and things like that, but Dark Angels for the win, yeah. Stormcast starter to get going. Had gold, I wanted to practice Custodes. Oh, nice, yeah. I guess Stormcasts are a good way to practice Custodes. They're basically Custodes, but in fantasy. Yeah, Misfit, I really like my Foxbite brushes. That's what I use 90% of the time. That's what I'm using right now. It's Foxbite Sable brush. So, not just because they gave me these brushes, and they're really nice to the channel, but I think they're good brushes. Had a patient show up. Oh, okay, that's all good. You do what you gotta do, Desert. I'm gonna get this blue done today. So we're just doing, it's like an edge highlight over all this carapace with a brighter blue. This is our same mix. It's gray blue and dark blue, but a lot heavier on the gray blue. It's the only difference. Higher ratio of gray blue. And magnification while painting? Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't personally. I'm sure one day I will, but I don't. But yeah, there's plenty of options. There's like jeweler's glasses, right? And you can buy lamps with magnifying glasses on them. Yeah, us old people. I understand. I understand. Lance with the glasses, us old people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sure I'll get there one day. My moment I realized I was getting old was my son. It wasn't too long ago. My son started, he found some books he likes and he's been reading on his own, and it's been awesome. But he'll sit in like a dark living room and read a book. And I started asking him, like, don't you want me to turn on a light so you can see your book? And he's like, no, I can see it. And I was like, oh, no. My parents used to always say that. But should I turn on a light? Can you see? I can't see. I can't read the book in that kind of light. Paint for the 3-foot rule using vision aids. Yeah. You're gonna zoom in and yeah. Not the same. Okay, we got this thing, so now it's just all these little underleg pieces here. Gonna get that belly piece. This thing. Hey, Dark Angel, what's going on? Welcome in. Yesterday, I don't know what came over me, but like a really bad headache by the end of the day, and I ended up going to sleep at like 9:30. I can't think of the last time I went to bed and went to sleep that early. At least as a not being sick, going to sleep that early. So I was gonna get some painting done last night, but nope. I just went to bed. Hey, Wandering Picked. No worries, man. No worries. Thanks for coming to hang out. Dinner buffet, 9 p.m. You know what? I eat dinner at 4:30 p.m. way more often than it's probably cool to admit. But me and my wife have always eaten dinner early. That's just been our thing. But now, you know, when you have a kid, I guess it kind of changes your perspective. And that might be different. Like last night we ate dinner. It was really late for us. And it was, at like 6:30 when we ate. John Lockridge, how you doing? Thank you so much for the sub, man. A solid year. I really appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Well, today is the last stream before December, if my math is all right here. So, you know, we were doing this sub goal to get the painting wife on. Not looking like we're gonna make it. I mean, there's still a lot of subs to go. But we're gonna change up how we do the painting wife stream goal here. So next month should be better, and we could earn it anytime. I feel like I'm gonna make it a little more, you know, hopefully a little more enticing. I don't know. As far as the actual money giving portion goes, so. They're both 6, just, oh my gosh. Your poor family has been sick so much lately. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. We're trying to stay healthy. Not sure how successful we're being, but we're trying. All right, I think I got blue highlights on this guy. Maybe this last little thing here. Other side of it, yeah. Okay. And that is the carapace done on the first mini. Just got back from Missouri. Kind of expected. Okay, yeah. Around a bunch of family or something. Any interest in Tyranids to change my mind? I understand. I get like that too with a lot of armies. Like you see a good color scheme or you just see the minis in person, you're like, man, like that, I could collect that. This color scheme was actually based off of my color scheme for my Gene Stealer cults. Back when this person approached me painting Tyranids, they had mentioned some colors and they were like, you know, I really like purple and blue for my Tyranids. I was like, I've been painting Gene Stealer cults, and my Gene Stealer, like the actual like, you know, alien parts of my minis, have this kind of, you know, like purple flesh and like blue carapace stuff. And I showed him some examples. He's like, yeah, it's good. He's like, let's do that. Little did I realize that, you know, when I paint my Gene Stealer cult minis, you know, they take a long time anyway because they're Gene Stealer cults, but you know, they have like an arm sticking out, or it's their head or something, so it doesn't take very long to do that kind of color scheme. But when you're painting the full Tyranid in this color scheme, it's very time consuming. It's very stark too, but it's really cool looking. So I think it's worth the effort. Son's in middle school. He takes a nap when he gets home. Yeah. I feel you going to bed early because I started high school. Once I started high school, it'd have been more earlier than I was in middle school. Yeah. Well, and you know, when you're like a teenager, your body needs more sleep. Like that's just part of like adolescence, right? Your body needs that sleep to like grow and be healthy and everything. You know, and then you have like a brief moment in early adulthood where you're like, I can stay up forever and I can sleep 4 hours a night and I am good nonstop. And then like you have kids and you hit like 30 and that doesn't happen anymore. You're just like tired all the time. So either like you learn to live with the exhaustion, or you know, you sleep a bunch like every spare moment you get. I think I am more of a learn to live with the exhaustion kind of person, but this morning I just kind of fell asleep. I sat down in my chair like an old man. Just was out for a little bit. Best on 6 to 7 hours, yeah. For edge highlighting instead of dry? No, absolutely not. I'd much rather dry brush. Yeah, I am a big fan of dry brushing. So, yeah, if you guys stick around long enough, you'll see me paint a tank or something, and I'll show you that I can paint a tank in like 2 hours, and it looks good, and it's because I just dry brush the thing. Use dry brushing for the majority of your detail work. It goes so quick. It's a customer request. Yeah, this mini is yeah, this is a mission. And I started painting. This is not the first time. This is, I think, the third time I've painted minis for this this customer. And you know, I did it this way the first time, and you know, whether I'm trapped like this or not, this is kind of how it's gonna go. I think if I were to change it now, I would dry brush the purple flesh before I put on any blue. But I feel like I'm kind of in the color scheme, and you know, it is what it is. He pays me for the time I put into the minis, and I'm going to put the time into the minis, so. Never been tired as much as I have been in high school. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's funny. When I was in college, like, man, I would stay up until, you know, like 2 a.m. regularly and get up for class and everything. But I look back on when I was in high school, and I was like, man, if I made it up to like 10:30, like that was a feat. On weekends, hanging out with my friends, like we'd stay up until like 4 a.m. But normal like school night, like that never happened. So, painting son for his birthday. He did fun things at school, but then he went to his fencing practice, and they have apparently a birthday tradition that they do, and it's called running the gauntlet. So he got to run the gauntlet, and it's basically he put on all of his equipment, and everybody else had foam swords that they use, I think, as like lightsabers, and yeah, and he ran down a tunnel while everybody hit him with the swords, and then ran back, and then we sang happy birthday to him. So he thought it was super fun. Which is funny too, because before I even knew like what the name of what they were doing, before I heard it was called, you know, running the gauntlet or whatever, they just said they had a birthday tradition. I was actually talking to my mom on the phone, and I told her that, and she's like, what is it? She's like, do they all just like hit him with their swords or something? And I was like, no, like that'd be ridiculous. Like they wouldn't do that. Exactly what they did. Hey Zen, what's up, man? Class now? Watching movie because our teacher wants the last 2 days. Yeah. Hey, that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be before Thanksgiving break, right? Yeah, so the gauntlet was he got all suited up with his equipment and stuff. So put on his mask and his jacket and his like chest plate and stuff. And yeah, he ran through a tunnel of everybody, and they included all the parents in this too that were there. And he ran through the tunnel while they all hit him with foam swords. And then we sang happy birthday to him. My wife got it on video. It is pretty adorable. Yeah. And then he got to choose a game to play. They ended up playing this game. So sounds like a Prussian army punishment drill. Yeah, I think of like the old, like, man, was it the Swiss that did that too with the pikemen? If you ran from battle, they would have you like run through the gauntlet where they all like stab you with the pikes while you're running through, right? Yeah, kickboxing class, nice. Yeah. So oh, cool. And some painting, and nice. I'm glad you took that mini, dude. Some little extra to do. So they played a game. And, you know, I don't know fencing games, so this one was new to me. But they played, everybody got suited up, and they had their normal fencing class, so like teenagers and adults, basically. It's everyone 9 and over are in the normal class, and then their kids' class is like ages 5 to 8. Oh, that's cool. Well, she's, yeah, tell her you're welcome. It was great. It's always fun to hear about people painting, especially kids getting into painting. But they played a game called Kings and Knights, and they separated the teams. Normally you only have 2 teams, but they played it with 4 teams. So my son, with it being his birthday, he got to be one of the kings, like one of the team captains, and they paired him with an older kid, the super tall kid, but they paired him with him, and then they all picked teams, so they had their teams set and everything. And they had a little, like, they had 4 cones that made like a little castle, like a little space, and they put like a little stuffed animal in the inside. And they had, every team had a king, and my son was he was king for his team. And the king was allowed to stand in the castle, which was the little cone barrier. And what had to happen was each team had to steal all the other team's treasure, which were the stuffed animals inside the cones. And each team had maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 people. The kings could stand in there, and the kings were immortal as long as they were in the castle. And so they all had fencing equipment on, like they're all fully suited up and everything. And yeah, basically if you get like stabbed in the chest, you die, and you have to basically sit down and point your foil in the air until a friendly king comes out and like taps you, and then you get back in. But then the king could, like, you know, stab anybody from inside the castle and get them out. But yeah, you had to get in. You had to take the treasure from everybody. It was pretty intense. It was a 4-way battle, like literal like battle going on with with fencing equipment on. And they made a rule so the older people couldn't knock out the younger ones. So the younger ones had free reign to go and, you know, like do whatever. But, you know, they're like 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 years old. So, but the older ones could like face off against each other. Don't know what he wants to play. Yeah. Yeah, a free mini. Yeah, get the free mini and paint it up. Don't have them start Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns are not a good first 40k army. They're cool, very cool, but oh man, that's a way to get someone to hate painting minis. I'm try painting first. Yeah. He didn't sit in a golden chair. No, he didn't sit in a golden chair. No. It was adorable though. I got a picture of him like making plans with his team. But his team got out, and when they got out, he did his first like sparring bouts in fencing too, but he was doing it kind of on his own, like with, no one's direction, but he was doing it with the older kids, like the main class of fencers. And there was a girl that was fencing with him, like doing matches. So I got a video of like his first like match. It's super cute. His like little tiny self like charging this poor girl. What do you think about the reveals last week? Oh man, it was a good reveal show, I'd say. Overall, really good. I'm excited for a lot of this stuff. The Krieg stuff. We went on Sunday night. I did my whole thing, my whole spiel about all the reveals, but the Krieg stuff doesn't look as good as I was hoping. But I think most of that is the paint job. The studio paint job does not work with Deathcore of Krieg. It just doesn't. The old Forge World paint job, the gritty, realistic, like, obvious historical fan that painted those minis, perfect for Krieg. But the GW paint everything bright colors to show off all the details doesn't work for those minis. So I'm hoping to see some people paint them and get some good like Forge World quality paint jobs on those new Krieg minis, and hopefully get to make some good judgment calls on the minis from that. Okay, we gotta get the back here. Need a Primarch that I like to come back. What Primarch? Yeah, Warp Spiders are awesome. Warp Spiders are super cool. They were always my favorite aspect warrior. I mean, like, it's 1999. See, they kind of do though, right? Like, everything's super brightly colored, and I think it's to the detriment of the design a lot of the time. The minis from the the heavy metal team or whatever. I don't even know if they call them that still. Those Deathcore Krieg minis came out, what, like 2004 or something? It wasn't that long after that 1999 era. It was just how Forge World treated their minis, and the painters that they had. It's what gave across that, like, great tone. And that great feel of Krieg. Krieg do not work in bright colors looking like the rest of Guard. Like, they look goofy. But I seriously don't think it's the sculpts. I think the sculpts are good. Russ, Connor, Dorn, yeah. Russ will probably be the next loyalist to come back, to be honest. It's probably going to be Russ. I have hopes for how Russ would come back. I have very high hopes. I don't expect it to be anything other than he's the goodest boy, and he meets Gilliman, and Gilliman gives him good dog treats, and everybody loves the Space Wolves. I feel like it's going to be that, but I hope he's going to come back as a hideous, mutated demon and, or warp-tainted Primarch, and it's going to terrify everybody, but it's going to, like, make him, wolf sad, because people don't like the Wolf King with the wolfness. So, wolf sad is the new term. It's going to be a rule. Wolf depression. Krieg models are great, but I see what you're saying about the paint schemes. Yeah. There's some good potential with those minis. I just need to see them being, being like painted better. What's up, Blue? How you doing? Sun's my second army. I do love painting fiddly bits. Yeah, okay. Well, Admech and Thousand Suns seem right up your alley. Wandering picked. 10-foot tall werewolf. Yeah. Werewolf. Yeah. Yep. Alright. Next, we have the Biovore. And this is our last of these minis. Hopefully the rest of them go a little quicker and we can start on something else. Any military unit in the field for over a week looks dungy. Yeah, brown and gray, unless you're looking to make a realistic diorama. Yeah, I agree, Peter. I think bright colors work fine for there's a lot of things in 40K where the bright colors look fine. Um, there are just some things that really don't. And namely, it's these like the Forge world crossed over into 40K proper kind of things that just don't work as that like bright color, especially when you're like grimdark. Like, there's not much that's more grimdark than the Deathcore of Krieg. Like, they fit the bill of the setting perfectly, but it's just, yeah, it's just I think a lot of the inspiration from the Krieg is from like old artwork and stuff, like not even 40K artwork, just like depressing World War One artwork, like the Death Rider. I'm pretty sure the like classic Death Rider where it's like standing still and he has his lance pointed straight up. It's like a very relaxed pose. That's from an old World War One photograph of a cavalryman, like a German cavalryman, right? With this massive like warhorse that he's standing on. And it's like this almost depressing, like somber looking army. Like they're not perfect, they're not infallible, they're not like eager to die, but there's like this like sense of duty that they don't really want to be there, but they know this is like their only chance. Like, this is their life, this is what they were born for. Like, that's pretty much, yeah, what's more defeatist and dark than World War One soldiers? Exactly. What's up, Gosu? What's up? Watching one streamer freak out about the horse's feet. I mean, the horses have feet, they always have. Yeah. So yeah, they're a little more exaggerated now, I think, than they were. But again, it's more the pose on the miniature there, I think, than anything. Appreciate what you guys are saying. Even if I know a little about 40K, you have to mix painting technique with practical application. Yeah, and there's a lot of like, you want to be able to tell units apart on the battlefield, and 40K is not a historical game, so people don't have to get it in their head that you have to paint things to make them look realistic, because that's just not 40K, right? But by all means, if you want to grime up minis and do that, like, people are gonna love it. And if you love it, like, that's great. Like, that's your army. You make your army what you want. Something unnatural about Krieg being clean and brightly colored. I am loving these new Tyranid minis, though, if anyone is wondering. They were a pleasure to assemble, especially the Hormigons. I never thought I would say that, but the Hormigons were just wonderful minis to assemble. And yeah, they got a lot of little details on them, a lot more than the old Tyranids, but they look great. They look great. A little time consuming to paint, right? Metal didn't do the Krieg any. No, the heavy metal team. No, I think they failed. They failed with their painting execution on the Krieg. Yeah, that's what we were getting into, Gosu, when you jumped in. Talk about the paint job is probably the word. Is what makes them not look as good as they could. Okay, we got the legs. Maybe I can track down release in, yeah, 2006. Okay. Yeah, they probably were around. I think they're like an old like 80s or 90s reference to them, like some artwork. I remember when the Deathcore were coming out, I was in the hobby, and I remember seeing those and just like spending my afternoons just browsing Forge World's website, just like dreaming of a Krieg army and an Elysian drop troop army. I could never decide which one was cooler. And I'd just look at the prices and I'd be like, man, $60 for 10 minis. It's not worth it. They're a lot more now, but A bit of news before I forget. I'm not going to stream tomorrow, guys. I'm going to take the day off. I have food to prep for Thanksgiving. We are doing like a legit birthday celebration for the painting son. His birthday was yesterday, but we're going to go see a movie. He wanted to see Moana 2, and we're going to go out to eat with some friends and everything. So I'm going to take that day to, you know, get prepped for big dinner time for Thursday, and spend time with my son. I didn't want to have to choose between making food and, you know, like going out to eat. So you work on Thanksgiving, that stinks. What a scam. Yeah, pre-Thanksgiving. Yep. But yeah, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday if you celebrate. If you don't live in the U.S., and hope you go get yourself some good food Thursday. All it is just a holiday to give thanks for, for what we have, whether that's stuff or people or opportunities or anything like that. So. And, you know, in true American fashion, we do that by eating way too much food and making amateur cooks cook a giant bird. Old. Edge highlighting the carapace ridges. Away from the edges. Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. It's a relatively simple paint scheme. Everything about this is pretty simple. It just takes time. And man, if you want to practice edge highlighting, just buy one of these Biovore minis and just do this. Because this will give you all the practice you need. Weird angles, rounded edges. Lots of all of that. Yeah, tedious application. Bot spam your channel. Yeah. Thanks, Blue. You know, I don't know what I would do with the bot without the bot spam. Tomahawk, what's going on? Very next day, after being thankful for what we have, we all go out and mosh pit and buy stuff that's not really on sale but says it's on sale. Oh my gosh. We were explaining to my son what Black Friday is, and like just going all the way back to, like, you know, people would do Christmas shopping after Thanksgiving, and the day after Thanksgiving is the first chance to do that, so that's when people would go. So it turned into like the largest shopping day of the year just because everybody doing Christmas shopping. Well, that turned into businesses taking advantage of it and putting stuff on sale and clearance and everything, and that turned it into more of a frenzy. But then when it became like a staple of culture, businesses were like, well, you know, we'll just say it's on sale even though it's not really on sale. And so, you know, I'll tell my son about, like, you know, if you have a TV, it's $1,000, they'll put it on sale and say it's half off and say it's $1,000, and everybody thinks it's an amazing deal. There used to be actual good deals on Black Friday, though. There was a window where there were legit sales on Black Friday. But no, we are staying in the house. Actually, Painting Son is going out with a friend. It's a friend's birthday. So he's going to spend time with a friend at a trampoline park while I have a quiet afternoon. Space bugs. Yes. Is the mosh pitting are mostly over? Yeah, everything's online. Yeah. I've been seeing Black Friday sales going on for weeks at this point. I've always hated Black Friday. I've never wanted to shop on Black Friday. I always thought it was pointless. I'm not going to comment on the what I think of average intelligence of somebody, because or the group of people. Yeah, extra pieces. Direction don't show the pieces. Yeah, yeah, T-Slayer, yeah. That happens sometimes. Punk lives on. It lives on in you know, middle-aged women throwing hands over a $15 toaster. A good movie to demonstrate what Black Friday is like without being a movie that's not about Black Friday, but there's a movie called Jingle All the Way. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's actually one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Um, but yeah, they show the attitude people have when it comes to buying some like dumb thing on sales. Yeah, Jingle All the Way. It's so good. I love that movie so much. Put the cookie down. Yeah, that's so great. Sinbad's so good in that movie too, and yeah. We watched that last year. The Terminators I'm building like that, nice. Yeah, we watched that with my son last year. I don't think he got a lot of that movie, but he also doesn't know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is because he's 8 years old, 7 at the time, so. Is it Phil Hartman? Is that who it is that's in that movie? He plays like the creepy neighbor that just like walks into people's houses and like starts baking cookies and like hitting on all the moms. That's yeah, incredibly creepy. But he does a great job. Rest in peace. Yeah. He worked on voiceover for a PS1 game called Blasto. Really? That's so weird. Oh, moms. Probably why the wife offed him too soon. Oh, jeez. It was Andy Dick's fault. Remember, his wife was a recovering drug addict. Pretty sure Andy Dick pressured her to buy a bunch of drugs or something. He was supposed to do voice work in Futurama. And he was going to voice Zap Brannigan. Yeah. Essentially Captain Brannigan. Yeah, yeah. And when he passed away, they decided Billy West did his voice. You know, and try to keep it to something similar to Phil Hartman. Death by Snoo Snoo, yeah. Okay, we got a little bit more underneath the cannon there. Leg pieces, alright. Whoa. Mod Squad assemble. Yeah, no kidding. Where's Big Papa when you need him? Hey, Juzal, thank you, man. Hope you're liking them. These minis have been fun to paint so far. I mean, it's been a little while since I painted some Tyranids, but These are gorgeous minis, though. Just, yeah, seriously good looking Tyranids. New Tyranids are the way to go. To the mod squad. Yeah, prepare battle brothers. Yep. All right. The three of these little beetle guys are done. That's true. That's true, Peter. That's the philosophy in life that I live by. Because I type like a toddler. So anyone who has me in their chat or sees me in chat knows that. All right. Hunt and peck is the only way to type. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I never... Yeah, my fingers don't move fast enough. Sweaty gamers give me the skills. I think that's where I learned how to type like relatively fast, was playing like World of Warcraft and stuff. You know? You're not in chat and you're in the middle of a raid and like you have to tell someone something, like you gotta be able to type it out quick. Just on necessity, right? All right. Competitive WoW, I would do typing games as a warm-up. Dang, that is serious. Static and Codex Imperial Guard, 3rd edition. 4th edition in mind. Dang, okay, okay. I have the 3rd edition Imperial Guard Codex. I'm gonna go look that up. It was just like artwork showing all the different, bunch of different regiments, right? It just showed like one trooper and he's got like, you know, looks very, you know, World War I mix of European armies kind of thing. Got the spiked helmet, yep. Alert, take my dog to the vet for a checkup. Alright, alright. Good luck. You and your family, TPD, you guys are amazing. Oh, yeah, thanks, Zen. Appreciate that, dude. Are we doing a thankful stream? Is that what this is? What this is turning into? Discord. I didn't see your new Discord channel. No. I was telling chat, I went to sleep. I was asleep by 9:30 last night. We were so busy. I had like a really bad headache through most of the day, and so like, okay, all right. Well, Zen, I am thankful for you and being willing to hang out and help me with all this streaming stuff, and also just be a cool friend. I feel like my social circle shrunk a lot. You know, from like 2020 and the COVID years, and just, you know, growing apart from a lot of people I grew up with. So, like, the friends I have are a lot more important. Yeah, it does happen as you get older, I know. Yeah, but just in particular, you know, like, things happen where it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just busy with kids. It's more like, I just don't care to spend time with this person anymore. People just went crazy, guys. I'm not gonna deal with that. So. They're not nice. You only ones add to your life. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I think I kind of started to live my life by, like, if, you know, like I always, for a lot of people, I felt like I was always the one reaching out. I'm sure you guys know how that feels, where you're the one always communicating with people, and, you know, if I ever stop, like, they're never going to talk to me again, but you're like, what happens if I do stop? Like, and, you know, I did that with some people, and people never would, you know, I literally haven't spoken to some people in years. And, you know, it's like, if they, okay, I guess that's how they feel, then fine, it's not someone I need in my life. Yeah, Blue, I'm probably pretty similar. Yeah. Yeah, Peter has been like, I was debating whether to comment on it or not, Peter, but I was like, this is the most helpful thing I have seen. One of the most helpful innovations I've seen in, like, Twitch chat since I've started. I can see that being really nice with, like if you're chatting with, like, a bigger streamer, if, like, stream's really busy or something. Because, yeah, sometimes I'm not sure what people are referencing or whatever, so that's very helpful. It easier, yeah, the streamer can, yeah, seriously, it's really convenient. Okay, we need to get his tail. Rushing realization that I had no one to spend New Year's with in my direct circle. Dang, wandering pig. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. You know, you got your parents. You know, it sucks you have to fly out, but race in Mass Effect that does that? I have no idea. I've never played Mass Effect. It was a BioWare game, right? I played Knights of the Old Republic, but I used to like mentor a group of teenagers, and one of the things we talked about is, like, you know, friends you have when you're as you grow up and everything. It's what was it? That you have friends. There are friends you have for a season of your life. So, you know, you grow apart, and that happens. There's friends you have for a reason. So whether that's, you know, like, I have friends that I exclusively know because I play a specific game or whatever. Like, that's the reason that we're friends, right? And we don't have anything else in common outside of that. And then you have friends for life. And each of those are like, it's like a shrinking circle, right? Like, you have fewer and fewer in each of those. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind when you're, you know, doesn't mean it doesn't suck to, like, you know, lose friends or grow apart from people, but It's kind of what it is. All right, Zen. See you, man. Yeah, good luck on the interview and enjoy your bagel, dude. He's getting legit New York bagels. I'm a little jealous, even though I've never had a New York bagel, but sounds good. 30 years in law enforcement. A friend shows up with a truck, shovel, tarp, lie, doesn't ask question. Everyone else is just an acquaintance. Oh no. It's posted in Discord a bunch. What's going on here? Yeah, Discord. Oh. A lot of friends just exhausting. Yeah, I think it is. A lot of times I just want to sit at home and like paint minis or play a game on my own. You know? Like having a lot of friends is like an obligation. You know, and once you have kids and like a family and stuff, it's like, you know, your kids are going to do stuff all week and or like weekend, or you plan things, and then it's just difficult. I think there's nothing more exhausting than like trying to fit people into a schedule. I'm also an introvert, so, you know. Looking through front window, RV and the waterfront and painting miniatures. Okay. Dang. So many friends as a teenager, and I have like 4 people I talk to. Yeah. You get a lot of kids as a teenager. Gosu's getting busy. Yeah, I had a group of like, there were like 5 of us that were friends, and we hung out every single weekend, all 5 of us. We'd stay the night at someone's house. Someone in the group, we'd stay the night at their house. Sometimes, you know, 2 nights in a weekend or whatever. But that's what we do, every single weekend. And we were all really close. And now there's, you know, one of those friends is someone that's like, you know, still a friend that I see. You know, we both have kids that are similar ages and stuff. But we're also both really busy, so I almost never see him. But he's a mod here. His name is Killicam. But yeah, the other 3 just in different places, life and everything, and liking their self is okay. Yeah. I love just like spending time on my own. It's so great. Let's get this person's head here. Perfectly fine most of the time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot different when you kind of like don't have the option, right? Especially, yeah, when you immigrate somewhere and you're kind of making a new social circle for yourself. But then like that's it, right? Like you really have to make it. Friend group to become a parent is hard too. Yeah. Oh man. See, I never did that stuff, but yeah. I was never one to like bar hop or go out drinking or whatever, but still, I get it. I will say, as a parent, having a friend who is not a parent is like a godsend. It's so nice because as like cliche, I don't want to like sound like I'm looking down on people, but the amount of free time people who don't have kids have is significantly more than people who are parents. And being able to schedule like hanging out with someone who doesn't have kids is so easy. Because for the most part, they're available when you're available. Um, and so yeah, they become babysitters. No, 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 no. It's like yeah, it's just really easy to like schedule hanging out with someone who isn't a parent. So it's nice because it's not like you're working around for 6 months trying to hang out with your friend and you both have kids and like it's just really difficult when it's like, hey, next week I have this day off or whatever. It's free and I'll work around them. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, my wife's best friend is a teacher, but her and her husband, they chose not to have kids, and but they are aunt and uncle to my son, so and he loves them, and I'm not sure if he even understands that they're not actually family at this point, but it's great though, because it's Aunt Kristen, and they're great, and they're the people we're going out to dinner with, tomorrow for my son to help like celebrate his birthday and everything. Who prioritize their time for you, their friend. Yeah, for the win. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great. Oh, hey, Blue, I think you might be interested in this. Did you see the rumor engine thing from GW today? It is hands down Votan. Some kind of Votan vehicle. And something fast. I don't know, but what exactly it is, but it looks interesting. Yeah, it's a yeah, because it's like a booster engine, like on the back of a, like on the back of like some kind of flying vehicle, but it definitely has like Votan like roll cage and like armor plates. Yeah, yeah, getting PTSD flashbacks. Yeah. Oh man, Wandering Picked. Well, good luck on your dissertation writing. That sounds intense, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. I'll see you hopefully Sunday. I think I'll be back on Sunday, so I will see you then. If not Sunday, then sometime next week. Be back at it. Probably with Tyranids because I have other painting commitments for the rest of this week. Might be able to get started on the purple today if I can keep moving quick through this. Who knows? I got about 20 more minis to paint. Votan or squats. Yeah, like the new name for squats. Solve my Christmas shopping woes if they're out by then. They're not going to be out by Christmas. No, they're going to be like February of next year. They do look gorgeous though. The new Eldari stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, Lichter. We got linebacker Lichter here. Painting question. What's the best white? The best white paint out is Pro Acryl's Bold Titanium White. But the best way to paint white is to not use white paint. It's to only use white paint on the very final highlight that you do. Yeah, Eldari I think is going to follow Astra Militarum. And Astra Militarum, they say, are the first codex next year. But if there's still plenty of other things you can get for Eldari if you're wanting to start Eldari. You're just prepping, right? But don't you already have like 8 armies that you need to paint? Not judging, just asking. Just asking. It speaks truth. Oh, they're for your wife. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Just get some other stuff. Army's gonna be behind a $60 paywall next year. Really? What is that? What Army killer streak? I hope the new detachments are interesting. The Advent detachments. I think it's a cool idea. Not quite how to implement it, but I'm just happy everybody's getting a little bit of love. So get Imperial Knights and then Chaos. Oh, okay, okay. Let her breathe for a bit. Okay. Tell her she's got to paint or she gets nothing for Christmas. I'm taking a big risk for my wife's Christmas gift. I got her Legos. But it's the Lego houseplants. And I think they're adorable. I think she can bring them into her classroom and not have to worry about them. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna. She loves her houseplants, and she kind of had a traumatic. Are they? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. Yeah, this summer she had to basically like not put down a bunch of her houseplants, but we had like our whole upstairs is full of houseplants. But she had to. Real big issue with gnats. One of the plants she got from somebody brought in like these little fruit flies, and it was like, ew, it was disgusting. They were everywhere. I couldn't have a glass of water in the house without it being like fruit flies, like little gnats just like dropping in my water every single time. With this on stream, they look great. That's good. I'm glad. Okay. All right. I really hope she likes them. So my wife has never been a Lego person. Like she said when she was a kid, she wanted Legos and she would get them sometimes, but her mom was never a fan of them. But you know, boomer parents, right? And she was an only child, like a girl. So, but yeah. See if she likes them. I got her 3 sets. I got one, it was the succulent set. I got her the houseplant set. I got her the bonsai tree. She has a little bonsai tree that she started taking care of. It looks, we call it the Entwife. That's what I call it, at least. It looks like it's walking. It's adorable. But I got her the Lego one. And you could choose to put the little like cherry blossoms on it or whatever, because it's a little cherry blossom tree. But yeah, her dad, I guess, had a bonsai tree for a long time. Passed away a little over 10 years ago. So she decided she was gonna get a bonsai tree. Ooh, take a drink. Absolutely.
That's what I call high quality A2.
Absolutely. Changed hers to blossoms in the spring. That's adorable. Yeah. We'll have to do that. Excuse me. All right, let's take a drink of water. Back to it. Oh, yeah. Good water. This blue paint, I think it's the dark blue paint. The pigment in it is really weird, but it gets like stuck up in my brush bristles. You guys can see, hard to see it in here with the lighting, but you have to really make sure you clean your brushes well because it gets all in like the ferrule and everything. Just soaks up there. Something about that blue pigment. It clouds the water really bad too. I don't know what kind of blue they use in that paint, but all right, I'm feeling better about the Christmas gift now. So, not feeling as bad. We never actually felt bad about it. I'm just a little anxious. You have to get the Death Leaper, Ripper Swarm, 10 Hormigons, and then Spore Mines. And I think we have everything but the it's here. Does anybody remember the old RTS game, Battle for Middle-earth? Do you remember that game? I have it on disc. I have both games, 1 and 2, and the Rise of the Witch King expansion. But I found people still mod that game, so that game has some really big mods, like overhauls and stuff, that do a lot to keep that game alive and update the graphics and the controls and everything. But what I found was that game is abandonware. Like, you can't buy that game anywhere. They don't sell it. There's no way to just like get it and download it, like to buy it like in a legitimate means, I guess. So you can actually go on ModDB, and they have this thing. It's just an installer. It's the way you install mods for that game. But you can download the games, and they're free. Yeah, no, but you can find so I downloaded the game. I downloaded the first one because I want to play the campaign, but also I downloaded the second one, the expansion. And then it's a mod manager, so you just click the mods and it just downloads the mods for you and installs them and everything. So like Steam would basically. But yeah, so I have Battle for Middle-earth, and there's a big mod called Age of the Ring, I think. And Age of the Ring is a big overhaul, adds a bunch of factions and updates all the mechanics and the graphics and everything. So I have to try that sometime. That game was the reason I got my own PC. That first one. I got that for Christmas one year. And man, it was Christmas of 2003, because it was right when Return of the King came out. Okay. Looks like we got the blue on this guy. Move him over here. And it's Big D here. Death Leaper. All of his giant claws. So let's get the claws last. Let's bottom up here. I did finish my Kinatai blades. I don't think I mentioned that. I finished them this weekend. And I'm thinking about my next Thousand Suns stuff to work on. And I think my next actual Thousand Suns I'm going to work on, I'm going to finish my heavy weapons squad. That's what I'm going to do. A lot of magnetizing. And just a lot of like spare weapons to paint. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to paint after the heavy weapons squad. I think I might work on some other kind of auxiliary type stuff. Lower arms don't have anything. Chest does, though.
I believe, every day's a good day when you paint.
Hey, Der Schotten, welcome. And thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, man. How are you doing today? Proud dad moment. Yeah, parent teacher conference found out she's reading 2 grade levels ahead. Nice. That's awesome. Congrats, Minnie. Good job. It's always nice to hear. That's why I'm always going to go to parent teacher conferences. Like, if there's something bad going on, I want to know. But if there's something good, like, I want to hear about it, you know? Guys doing well. Yeah, I'm doing great. Doing great. Just painting Tyranids here. I'm going to finish up these blue highlights before I get on to the next color. Purple. I might do the pink, the magenta base coat first. I never told you guys about doing the mystery reader at my son's class. I got some funny stories. So Friday, I was talking about this. I was they do this thing called like secret reader or mystery reader or something, where a parent comes in and reads a book to class. And so I know I was talking about like, how do I show kids like what I do? And I decided to bring some minis in. Someone on stream suggested bringing in a Grogu mini I'd painted, and I did. Perfect suggestion. No, that's fine, Killer Streak. You do what you want, man. Perfectly legal. Totally cool. But I brought in Grogu, and I remember I get to my son's school, and I have some minis, some painted minis. I tell kids, yeah, like I have my own business and I paint miniature figures for a living, and for like, you know, things kind of like little action figures for games and stuff like that. And I was like, who here likes Star Wars? You know, and like some of the kids raised their hand, like me. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, I have some Star Wars miniatures. I was like, who likes Darth Maul? And some of the kids were like, yeah, me. And they're like, yeah, he fought Obi-Wan and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, who likes Grogu? Or I said, who likes Baby Yoda? And every kid in the class was like, yeah, me. So my son walked around and showed everybody the miniatures I had painted, which was great. I had this one girl, this poor little girl, super sad, but also it was funny in a way, and like a little kid saying things funny. You know, I get there, I'm just kind of waiting for them to all like kind of sit around and get ready and everything. And this girl raises her hand and I call on her and she says, I hope my mom does secret reader. She's like, I wouldn't know if she does. I haven't seen her in months, so I don't know if my mom's going to do it or not. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. It's like, oh, that's so sad. But also like, oh, yeah, yeah, just like at it, just, yeah. It's just so bad. So yeah, that was fun. Just, you know, just calling that out. Yeah, yeah, that's really bad. So another thing, when I was leaving, I'm walking out the parking lot, and the elementary school my son goes to is huge. It's like a big campus. It's on a campus with middle school and intermediate school. Not even a parent that heard me. Yeah, she's just like, I want to see my mom's gonna do secret reader because it'd be a secret because I haven't seen her. Like, it's just, it's all right. So I'm walking out of the school, and it was great. Read the book. It was fun. Had a super fun time. It was cool seeing my son in school and everything. But leaving, I'm about to walk on the parking lot, and this little boy, yeah, exactly. It's that same energy, right? It's like the same thing. Yeah. This little boy, I would want to say he was like 5 years old, but he was like small for a 5-year-old, like little boy. He's just jogging on the sidewalk out in front of the school, just like running, you know, just casually and like giggling the whole time. And he runs right past me in front of me. He looks at me, he giggles as he's running, just running by. He it just like runs. And I was like, okay. And I was like, he's supposed to be out here? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to grab a kid. Like, I know he's not supposed to be out there, right? Like, no kid's supposed to be running around out in front of the school. But he's just running. I'm like, I'm not going to grab some kid and be like, I got him. So yeah, he's just casually running, you know, and so I keep walking in my car. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on this kid as I'm walking my car. And I look over and I see a teacher like bust out through the front door, and she's running and she's like, get back here, like you're not supposed to be out here. And she's just hoofing it, like chasing this kid down. And he's just running. That kid's probably gonna like cross the street or something. Again, it's all like a closed campus, but man, and she's like running to get him. Yes. So funny. I'm just walking in my car. Like, part of me feels bad for not stopping to get this kid, but also like that seems like a liability on me. You know, to like, I'm not putting my hands on a kid who's not mine. You know, like that's just not gonna happen. So yeah, it's really, the look the kid gave me though is just super funny. Like, he just glances at me and just like giggling the whole time he's running. Yeah, big nope. I used to work at an elementary school, and I worked in like after school care and stuff. So I did a lot of that stuff, like daycare and like elementary school age kids and stuff. So like I get, like, my instinct is like, you know, obviously, you know, we stop the kid. Like, I know this isn't right, you know. You know, and like that happens, and like you gotta know what to do when that happens. But like, I am no longer responsible for more children than my own. Fun times though. It was a quick like 20-25 minutes. That was it, but it was fun. Made my day. I work for a family and I'm in charge of a 13-year-old son. And I never want kids now. Yeah, yeah. 13-year-olds, man, can be really bad. Most of the time when I worked at like summer camps. I did summer camps for a long time and did different things, but I worked at a YMCA and did like child care. I worked at a school and did like after school, and like I did kindergarten, like half day kindergarten. Like, I'd do the second half of the day. Or I worked in preschool for a little bit. I did a lot of stuff like working with kids. Most of the time I worked with kids though, it was like that, like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So it was like 11 to 12-year-olds. And I enjoyed working with that age because the kids are really cool. Like, the problems most 12-year-olds have in life that, you know, they're dealing with are not at the magnitude of like an older teenager, right? And so I think overall it's a lot more lighthearted, but you can also be like a little more real with them, more than like a 7-year-old. Yeah, and like, you know, some of them are, and like I've had like some pretty like serious like interactions with kids of that age. You know, I worked with like a lot of inner city kids too, and so I've had some crazy stuff of like, you know, a boy that like literally like absolutely hated women, like any girl or woman, he hated them. And it was like, I think it was a lot of abuse and things that he suffered as a kid, like when he was younger. And so like, you know, if he had the chance, he would just start like wailing on girls, like just start punching them and stuff if they like set him off at all. Like, you know, that was probably the worst experience I had, but like for the most part, like it was always great. Job I enjoyed. Yeah, I liked working with that age because you could do fun things with the kids. They weren't so old to where they were too cool for everything, or they had, you know, normally didn't have a lot of like crazy baggage that comes with age. Played a lot of Munchkin. You guys remember the game Munchkin? Played a lot of Munchkin with kids. Perfect age. They can read, they get most of the jokes, but they're not like this is dumb looking. You know, like Munchkin was a perfect game. Okay. We are painting Hormagaunts. Let's get a whole bunch of Hormagaunts out. Yeah, I haven't played in a while either. Yeah, it was a great game though. Just classic Munchkin. They do have 40k expansions. Yeah. Love that game. No one wants to play it now. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit of like a fad game, right? It stuck around for a while, but to me it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity. Like Cards Against Humanity is really fun to play like once or twice. And then after that, I feel like when the novelty wears off, it's kind of bland. Like there's not much to it. You were a terrible person at 13. Yeah, we all were. We all were. Apartment roommate and I had buddies over, get hammered, play Munchkin. Loot the room. Yeah. On Facebook Marketplace, found a listing of Tyranids. $200 when I went through. It was off 5,000 points of bugs. Oh my god. Did you buy it? That is the one reason I still have a Facebook page, is for buy sell trade stuff on for like Warhammer related things. I hardly use anymore, but an elvish mafia boss to coerce people to let me help, or yeah, or else I drop a wandering monster card to kill them all. Yeah, that game had some good nuance to it. That's fun. I would play with one of the kids I would play with. They always wanted to play, and it was cool. We'd play, but the way she would play, man, it was. She always tried to fish to be to find a thief card, be a thief, and she would do nothing but steal and assassinate from everybody. Like, would never try to win. It was always just like try to be the most toxic player. That was how she played that game. $300 to paint another dang killer streak. All right, someone was really just jumping out of the hobby, weren't they? We kind of taught my son how to play a little while ago, but he's a little too young to grasp, like, to get a lot of the jokes, but also to like understand some of the nuance of playing. Like convincing people to help you, or like how to bargain and make deals and stuff like that. So a little bit longer. I think individually these Hormigons wouldn't take very long to paint. But I do think we're going to do other base coats with the time we have remaining. I'm going to try to get maybe the black claws. If we have a lot of time. Yeah, NASCAR speed exit from the hobby, yeah. Dice thrown is fun for Yahtzee. Okay, interesting. I've never heard of that. Munshine's good at practicing math. It is. It is. Sushi Go is fun. It makes you hungry. I bet it does. I got Painting Son photosynthesis for his birthday. Yeah, we played a little like learning game the other night, and that game, there's so much potential in that game. I'm really excited. Okay, someone's got to answer some questions for me because I'm too lazy to look it up, though. What kind of tree has an acorn? What kind of tree is that? Is that an oak tree? It's totally relevant. My gaming experience of photosynthesis. Those is knucklebone. Okay, okay. Oak trees have acorns. Okay. And then, let's see. Pine trees have pine cones. All right. And then maple trees, if I'm right, have the little helicopter things. Is that right? The little the little seeds that have the little wings on them that twirl when they fall. Is that a maple tree that has those? Maple and ash have Samars, the helicopter. Okay, okay. And then there's another type of tree in the game, and they don't tell you what types of trees they are. They just show you pictures of them, and I can't think of the other type of seedling that they show. Totally relevant to my enjoyment of this game. That makes sense. How long I'll be lurking? I should pick my bet, so I'll be falling asleep watching. So yeah, no problem, no problem. RFND, I'm glad you made it today, though. I don't think we're gonna make our painting wife stream goal the sub goal, and that's okay. We're gonna change up how our goal is achieved for next month. It might be a permanent goal to reach, relatively speaking. So we'll see. Hopefully it's good. Red maple leaves are toxic to horses and can kill them when ingested. Okay, I will remember that, Ghost Hawks, if I ever get a horse that wants to start eating leaves, or if I have trees on my property. Thank you, though. Very relevant. Have to keep the painting horse safe. That's true, yeah. Alright, guys. 50 subs. I get a horse, and it streams painting with me. I know what you guys want to see. It's toxic, yeah. Interesting. Guess the lesson here is don't have cherry trees on your pasture, right? Nature can be scary and unassuming. Yeah, that's true. That's true. How are you doing, Scruffy Ranger, by the way? Scuffy Ranger? Scruffy Ranger. I think next week, next week I'll finish up these Tyranids. Probably finish them up on stream. On to the next thing, which will be some World Eaters. Good? Haven't been able to catch it? Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? Plants kill animals, but we lick paintbrushes. I don't lick paintbrushes. I don't know what this we is, but you finish your Necrons and Sisters. Yeah, 2 armies to finish. I get it. I have some Necron minis that have been sitting in the box, pushing probably a year now at this point. I'm not really in a rush to get to them. Not like I'm not painting things, you know. So I also have some Space Marines that are base coated that just been sitting around for a while too. Those for 6 months or so. My thought is, if I'm painting something and being productive, then I don't feel bad. But if I ever want to use those particular things in a game, I'll get them painted. I spent all last week stressing over getting my Kinatai blades painted for my Heresy Thousand Suns. And ended up playing an all-tank battle. Didn't even use them. Yeah, the Adeptus Sororitas, I get that. Oh, the inspiration. Yep. Yeah, for me, it's like the inspiration of what am I gaming with next? What sounds like fun to play? And then I'm gonna paint something for that. Just been enjoying my old 40K. Oops, all tanks. Yeah. We did at my local store. They had a big thing called Tanksgiving. So it was all tanks. Terminators were the only infantry allowed. So. The poor Kinatai blades were left out. The display shelf. Collaborate on the Discord thing? Start a weekly Balatros seed? Oh, really? Okay. Ooh, alright. I'm gonna have to get on that. Nice. I haven't played Balatro in a couple weeks. Maybe like 2 weeks. How long have you been streaming here? Today, I started a little late. I think I've only been streaming about 2 hours, but on Twitch, I've been streaming for about 3.5 years, maybe. I've been streaming for a couple months on YouTube. I simultaneously stream on both. Facebook Marketplace, and all I can find is in England? Oh, weird. There's US buy-sell trade groups. If you're looking for 40K, I know there's a big group that's like buy-sell trade. It's like US and Canada only or something. They have like... There's dozens of groups that are useful. I don't know about Facebook Marketplace, but like Facebook groups, there's like groups that are just like exclusively buy-sell trade. And I've had a lot of success in those groups. one real failure, and that was trying to trade transfers with someone. They claim their warehouse just busted someone for stealing stuff out of envelopes. They're just trading transfers via, envelopes, and so. I don't know. I did see Manor Lords is getting a big update soon. I don't know how big of an update it's going to be, but I've seen a little bit of what they're wanting to implement. They're not giving away everything, what they're wanting to do, but they have mentioned some things that they're implementing, like a new map or 2 new maps, some new waterways, a couple new buildings. They're revamping how markets work, so like some quality of life things. But I hope they add in some cool new stuff as well. Alright guys, I got 3 more Hormagaunts, a Ripper Swarm, and then 9 of these little spore mines, and we should be done with blue. Like I've said, these minis are simple to paint. They're just very time consuming. This work. And there's quite a few too. This isn't me just painting artifacts or something. Learning about actual history of that time period of Manor Lords, you should watch Absolute History series about living and working 16th century Tudor farm. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I really like, there's a channel, I think it's called Modern History TV or something. It's a guy, it's like a game developer, but he's also like, he hobbies as like a knight, basically. Like that's his hobby. And he had a really interesting channel. I think he still uploads videos. I haven't watched his videos in a couple years, but yeah, he does stuff about like, what people in medieval ages ate, and types of horses they rode, and like why like shields were a certain shape and how that changed due to different circumstances, and just like really like interesting and kind of like nuanced stuff. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I think he did a video about Manor Lords as well, and it was interesting because he approaches it from like a historical point of view and a game developer point of view, because he like runs a game dev studio. I don't know what studio it is. I can't remember, but he was kind of talking about it from like both ends of making a game in that time period and stuff. So Yeah, Manor Lords is a great game though. Obviously the consumer in me wishes that they would speed up their development cycle, but it has been one dev for a long time, and I had heard he had hired other people, but I don't know how that process is going or whatever. But yeah, just hoping he's good. I hope he gets to complete like his vision for the game, because it sounds like the perfect city builder game. Okay. One more. Then we're on to the little gubbins. Oh, Rome City Builder. Yeah, there's a bunch of those. I remember back in the day, Scruffy, one of the first city builders I ever played was Caesar 3. That was like early 2000s when I played that game. That game was a blast, though. Caesar 3 was a good game. It was a city builder in ancient Rome. It was more Imperial Rome, but it was cool because it combined your normal like SimCity-esque city management type stuff, but then you kind of had like missions to complete. So there was like not necessarily a story, but there was like a campaign mode to it. But then there would be like barbarian invasions that would happen every so often. So you actually had to like build weapons, and you had like barracks and stuff where you train soldiers, and each barracks could maintain so many soldiers. So the like 12-year-old me were like my goal was to make a giant army and like support this giant army, so when the barbarians came, I'd just crush them every time. Sim Ant, yeah, Sim Ant was amazing, dude. I had a disc. It was like 10 different sim games. There were like Sim Farm, Sim Ant. I don't even remember some of the other ones, but yeah. Yeah, Rome Total War 1 and 2, both amazing games. I played so much Rome Total War as a teenager, like hundreds and hundreds of hours into that game. For, Steam existed and they actually recorded your hours. Alright, Hormigons, finished. Let's get these little guys. You have your Sim Ant disc, nice. I still have Rome Total War on disc. I don't have a disc reader in my computer anymore, but I have Rome Total War. SimCity 2K, yep. Sim Rescue Sim Street built the city could explore in the other games. Yeah, dang. Yeah, Rome 2 is really good. I don't think I liked Rome 2 as much. I love modern Total War games, so Scruffy, if you like the more historical, like grounded Total War games, I would highly recommend Total War Pharaoh Dynasties. Like Total War Pharaoh got an update where they turned it into like Total War Bronze Age, and they did this weird, like they smushed Total War Troy with Pharaoh, and they made it more of a classic historical game. they put in like family trees, and like, you know, your leader's not immortal, like they die of old age. I played as the Mycenaeans, and I had Menelaus died like 15 turns into the game, like the Menelaus, you know, like from like Sparta. Um, yeah, and you play as ancient Egypt. There's Hittites, Babylonians, Mycenaeans, the Trojans, and you can play as the Sea Peoples, which is really cool. So, very, very good historical Total War, though. I haven't played a ton of it, but it's more been, you know, my busy schedule and less that I want to. But it's been really cool. The battles are really interesting too because cavalry didn't exist in that time period. And so wrapping your head around doing classic like hammer and anvil tactics, but it's like the dudes with spears that run really fast and light armor that are like your pseudo cavalry. You know, you can get chariots, but like chariots are just like they're like a monstrously powerful force on the battlefield. But you know, even they can go down really quick. Um, yeah, it's very cool, like different way of thinking about troops. Let's see. You it was you. Yeah, so I plan on playing some more Pharaoh Dynasties. I'm looking forward to the game. Hopefully they get some more updates with it, but it's been solid. One of the things they do in that game too, that's a departure from more modern Total War games. You know, you still recruit units based on like from your general. So it's like your general runs the army, you know, and that's how they do it, which is like a departure from the really old games. But some factions you get bonuses, and some leaders you get bonuses if your armies are smaller. If they have like 10 or less units in their armies. So it encourages you to, you know, play like there's like a raiding play style where you're just like picking off scraps from factions, and you know, picking on small settlements and stuff with little armies. You get bonuses for doing that, which is cool. It's cool they encourage that kind of play style in the game. And your leaders, okay, so the leaders in the game, they're not like, you know, all powerful like single units. They're like bodyguard units when you play with them on the battlefield. You have your general, then you have the bodyguard that he's with. You can change the bodyguard's equipment, which is something you could never do in old Total War games. So you can give you know, give your leader a spear, you know, like outside of a battle. You're like, hey, he's got a spear now, and his entire bodyguard becomes like spear troops. Or if you give him a spear and a shield, they become spear and shield troops. More like a club and shield. So you can actually like change the equipment on the generals and stuff, which is really cool. Nice feature. Full day of highlighting one color blue. What I do, guys. Ad streams in a nutshell. Playing the newish Return to Moria. Yeah. That's one where you're like a dwarf and you're like mining stuff, right? It's like a survival game, but you're in Moria. Yeah, so when I first heard about that game, I heard that it was as a survival game, but I also heard it was like a settlement builder. And so when I hear settlement builder, I think like you're collecting resources, but then other dwarves like join you, right? Like you end up building a settlement, and like you have like a town underground, and like you literally repopulate Moria. Like that's what I thought the game was. And I remember watching a bunch of gameplay for it. And I'm watching it and people are like, yeah, cool, hey, we're doing this, and I'm living, and I need this resource to build this, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, like it's a cool game. He's like, then I'll be ready to build, my first home or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Like here's where the game starts. Like, all right, the intro's like 5 hours long. But once you get past this part, like you'll start the settlement and everything. But no, it's just a survival game, which I'm not interested in. Like I'm not a big like fan of that kind of survival game. So once I realized, after skimming through like 15 hours of footage that's literally just you, and maybe you play cooperatively with friends and stuff, but it's just you running around and like living under Moria. Like that to me doesn't really interest me. Because like the whole thing was you need to open the door, right? You got to open the doors of Durin or something and let the rest of the dwarves in. I was like, yeah, once you let them in, it's like when you start your town, like your city in Moria, but it never gets there. Big letdown, yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it though. I never played Valheim, like I said. Like those aren't really my style of game. I wouldn't know what to compare it to. I just remember the game was super hyped. I was watching it and I was like all ready for, like, ooh, how does the town management go, and like are you gonna like get an army of dwarves to follow you around to like clear out the rest of Moria and stuff. But it wasn't that. Drag me through Valheim. Oh no. You got a problem with dwarf aesthetic? What is that? Or it's not a good dwarf aesthetic. Take offense to the dwarf aesthetic. It does feel a little like old MMO-ish, right? With the aesthetic. Like they're really just trying to get like 500 different suits of armor in the game. So they make all the starting ones look really goofy and really bad. And so you have to work up to like the interesting looking ones, but even then it just ends up being kind of strange. Played in 2 years, I'm tempted to boot it back up. Sent Path of Exile 2. Oh, cool, okay. So, a game I played. I got this game, I played it for a week. I did nothing else for this week, but I played this game. That was it. That's all I did. I did nothing else. I uninstalled it and haven't reinstalled it since. It was years ago. It was Bannerlord. What is that? Yeah, Bannerlords. Bannerlord. The what do you call it? The like first person game, but it's like an adventure game, but you're building an army and everything. What is it? What is it now? It's got like a first name. Mountain Blade 2, that's what it is. It was 2020 when I played that game. It was still in early access. It came out, I watched someone play that, I was like, I need this, I bought it. I did nothing for a week but play that game, I uninstalled it. I want to play it again, I've always wanted to play it again, but I can't. I tell myself, if I play this game, I'm not putting it down. I'll be lost forever. Because that game was way too much fun. My best and worst moment in that game was it the Vlandians? I think they're kind of like the medieval British, basically, and their like aesthetic and culture and stuff. But you're like trying to get knights. Their knights are like the best in the game. So I was playing a run where I was only trying to get cavalry in my army. So that was my whole army was going to be knights, and it was great. It's going really well. Just wrecking people with knights. You just charge them down. Battle's over. Like that's it. So I joined the Vlandians, the nation. I was running around with them. Well, we got into a war, and we started fighting this faction. Well, they brought in this huge army, and I decided to join in and join the battle. We start this battle, and I kind of take command. I'm like, all right, I'll lead the knights. Way outnumbered. Everything just horribly outnumbered. Supposed to lose this battle. Ended up winning the battle, but I lost every single one of my knights. Every single one died. And so my own personal army was completely wiped out, and I had to start from scratch. So it just like killed my interest in that run. I was like, no, my army, my beautiful knights, they all died. Walking around does it. I'm sure Path of Exile 2 will be really good. Alright, well, we finished the blue, guys. So now I think magenta's the color we gotta do. We'll start on some magenta for a little bit. See how far we get with this little base coat. Magenta almost out? What in the world? It's not good. You're a slow painter. It's alright, man. It's alright. I don't know if I'm gonna do... I wasn't sure about their little, like, face bubble things. If I was gonna paint those pink or not. I don't know. We'll wait to determine that. And you know what? I realized I didn't forget my blue. I didn't finish my blue. I gotta do this guy. Listen, Blue. Time is money, alright? So, I have to paint a little quicker. I used to be a really slow painter. Okay, now the blue is done. Commission work, but I'm just not fast enough to make it worth my time. Yeah, it's something you gotta really practice. So I understand. Doing commission work is really tough if you have a full-time job also. Man, is it hard to get motivation to spend all day at work and then to sit down and paint someone else's minis? Difficult. Okay. Think on those guys. We're going to move these spore mines down. We'll determine later to do pink face bubble things, but the pink parts on these minis, mainly these little like arm and leg things. I don't even know what these are, but tongue sticking out. Nice thing about doing this magenta first is if we make mistakes in the purple, outside the lines a little bit, it's easy to correct because we'll be highlighting the purple later. Part of it. We can even cheat a little bit on this pink where we can use some dry brushing. Capture these highlights on these little like arm split things. Every one of these guys have their tongues sticking out. They don't. Nice. Goat and I can bring you through some Valheim. Oh man. What about something like Songs of Conquest or something? Still haven't played that game. It's like it got an update, didn't it? Didn't it get like a new faction or something? I like my strategy games. Play songs soon? Okay. I'll try it out. It's like Heroes of Might and Magic, right? That's what I gather. I remember watching your stream with it. Oh, you know what, Blue? I saw that you own Legion Tower Defense. Legion Tower Defense 2. I was playing that all weekend. It's amazing. It is such a blast, like for such a simple game. Yeah, I was playing that, and I got the Painting Wife playing it. I was playing some ranked multiplayer, and I got up to Silver 2. I was beast at it. I got that game down. It's on sale right now. I was thinking about grabbing it, and I would love to do some duos in that game. Be a boat anchor. Oh yeah, you're gonna do the Is the angler the angler the one with the anchor? Is that the one? Or are you saying you just like just not leak? Just hold up and oh, you be trash. Oh, okay. Oh. It's fine. It's alright. So my whole thing was I was watching a YouTuber I watch. I've been subscribed to this dude for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years at this point, maybe longer, but he played Total War, but his name's Tyranids. And he got into Legion Tower Defense 2 and he just started playing it on stream. And so for the past couple months, he'll play it once or twice a week on stream, and I'll just listen in a stream while I'm like painting. And so I am hearing him talk about like all the strategies and like how he's playing and what does what and all these things. So, you know, I jump in, and actually it was a free weekend and the game's on sale. So I'm like, yeah, sweet. Like I'm gonna try this game. Actually try this game. And so I jump in, and I already understand like, you know, what's a good opening. You know, like fighter, and like when do you send, and how to save money, and like what's a good ratio to like eco and stuff, and like all those like little things. And I felt like I had a good like leg up on like people that were playing in like bronze level, you know, just starting, because just sat in listening to this guy's streams, just like trying to like get up to like platinum or diamond or whatever. So yeah, I feel like I could do pretty good. Painting Wife said she'd play with me, so I think I'm going to pick up that game for both of us. She does not get the game like I do, because she does not watch the streams that I watch, so... Point being, I'd be down to play some games. Did you just give me Valheim? Or did you give me, what'd you do? What is this? Oh, you just gave it down, man. Thanks, dude. You didn't have to do that. He's being mischievous. He just gave me Legion Tower Defense too. Imagine if it was Valheim though. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be like, oh, no. I'd play it. I'd play it. Yeah, give someone a co-op game they wouldn't enjoy. I don't know if I'd enjoy Valheim, honestly. I have seen very little about the game, but I imagine if I were playing with a group of like cool people, I would have a blast. Because for me, that's any kind of game like that. That's what makes it fun, right? Just playing with people that are fun to play games with. So. And me and Painting Wife are always trying to find games that we can play together, that we both enjoy. And I thought this game would be good because it's PvP, which Painting Wife really enjoys. The matches are quick. Another thing that helps us because we don't normally play. We don't sit down and play a game for, you know, hours at a time. So we need something quick. We play as a team. And it's not like micro based, and there's no like pay to win. A good combination. Fun if we did do Orc versus Space Marine reenactments. I know, yeah, it's that's the only way to win, right? We gotta do a unification or something sometime. I mean, I just play regular Soulstorm too. That's fun. Okay. Big squid face here. Let's get the little vent things on everybody. I don't know if we'll have time to do all the little extra gubbins that are going to be this magenta color. Let's get the stuff we know we're going to get. We can think about the others later. Sisters, yeah, sisters are so broken in that game. Got that. What about, okay, so his upper arms. I had painted a lictor before, and I think I need to look this lictor up. Get an idea of everything I painted on him. It was an old lictor though. The old, it was an old resin mini. So I'll have to look that up to get, because I think I painted like the inner parts of this claw. Big claw here. I think I painted that pink. Magenta. But we'll get to that eventually. Let's, I guess, get the stuff we know. He's got little weedy arms. His little weedy arms don't have a little vent thing. Centerpiece unit, you kill it, it'll just come back. Yeah, it's such jank, dude. Such jank. The brain is definitely painted pink. It's juicy brain. Dude, thanks again, man. I appreciate it. No, it's a really good price. Yeah, I don't think I would consider the game for the retail like $25 for it. It's not a $25 game, but $10 is a pretty easy choice. You got yours in a humble bundle, nice. Yeah, I don't think, if I didn't watch like someone play this game and like really get into it, I don't think I would have ever given this game a second look. It is not my style of game at all. I like tower defense games, but like, you know, the old like World of Warcraft aesthetic is like not my favorite thing. The you know, like it's like a weird like not tower defense. It's just really strange, but like it's not something I would ever consider. But yeah, watching someone play it. Good. Yeah, I use the 7 Deadly Sins brush. That's the brush set I use. I have the Kalinsky Sable set, which is the pricier one. If you buy them, they're very good brushes. You just need to clean them. Like any Kalinsky Sable brush, you'll need to clean. I have been using the Gentastics Drunken Brush Goop lately, which is the Monument Hobbies brush cleaner, and it's been nice. I would say it doesn't smell quite as good as the Mastersons, or not Mastersons, the Masters brush cleaner. But I have heard it is specifically made to clean the types of paint and brushes that we use, unlike the Masters. So, you love the way it smells? It's not my favorite. Not my favorite. I like the little lemon hint of smell that the Masters has, but Yeah, the Gintastic stuff, it's worked great so far. This dude just coming off his base. Just you gotta regularly clean your sable brushes. They're expensive and they will last forever, but you have to clean them when you're done painting. Like you're done with your painting session for the day. Clean them and you condition them. Poppy beer bread smell. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm not one that I'm not one that drinks beer or anything. I'm not a drinker. And I think that's why it's maybe strange to me, is that's not like a smell I'm used to. Sorry if we get a little bit of pink on some of these little purple areas, because we're going to be highlighting and we'll cover that. They made beer scented brush soap. What kind of crazy people are they? Now, getting on the blue is not good, but we'll come back and correct that. Sable's being stopped at custom. Yeah. Most Klinsky sable comes from Russia, because it's like a Siberian thing or whatever. There's still some that comes from other places, but it's gonna be stopped at customs, and there's like embargoes on that. It's one of the sanctioned like goods out of Russia. So thanks, Russia, for being a bad neighbor to the entire world, making our brushes more expensive, and committing war crimes, trying to genocide people. To Monument Hobbies brushes, honestly, I like the Foxbite brushes a little better. The thing I like about the Foxbite brushes is the belly of the brush, which is like the number of bristles, basically, like kind of like that classic brush shape. The Foxbite brushes have a much bigger belly, which means they use a lot more like hair in them, right? A lot more of the sable fur in the brushes. That means they hold more paint, and for me, they feel better to use. I've used the Monument, like the Monument number 2 is like a pretty small brush. And number 2 is kind of like your standard, like everything brush size. The Foxbite brush, number 2 brush is really big. It's almost comparable to another brand I really like, which is Winsor & Newton. Winsor & Newton brushes are very large brushes, but they come to very sharp points. Foxbite does that really well too. Yeah, I prefer the larger belly on my brushes. Other people probably prefer something different, but that's my preference. I don't think I've ever heard negative things said about the Monument brushes though, so I don't think you would be in a bad spot if you got Monument stuff instead of Foxbite. Oh crap. Flicking paint everywhere. Too many weird angles on these minis. Again, the purple can be easily corrected because we're going to be doing our highlights, and our highlights will correct these spots where we're mainly, making mistakes and everything. Some of these things, like the sacks of whatever fluid here, I think we're going to paint pink as well. So we're gonna get back to that. The 3-0 synthetic round brushes. Okay, from who, Professor Grimm? Something about counterfeit from India? Squidmar just did a video. Really? I saw he did a video like, oh, the US is blocking all my brushes or whatever, but I don't know. I skimmed through it and I wasn't super like thrilled about his video talking about that, like acting like it's the US's problem, that they're stopping these, brushes, but I don't remember anything about counterfeit India stuff that he was talking about. Would not surprise me. Yeah, no, I don't sub to Squidmar. He's the most YouTube like YouTuber from like the painting community. And I liked his stuff for a while, like he did cool stuff, but yeah, man, the weird like YouTube algorithm gaming is exhausting to see from like YouTubers that I used to enjoy. Oh, it's a general brand from Michaels. Okay. Yeah. And he talks about like, he has an editor and he got a studio so he doesn't have like his kids like yelling in the background and stuff. And I gotta be honest, when he did his old videos, when he was like at his paint desk in his basement or whatever, and he would do these like cool little painting tutorials and stuff, and you would hear his random kids screaming in the background, something about that was like endearing, right? Like probably not the best from a like straight up production quality standpoint, but it adds like charm to the channel. And it's kind of sad that like that's not, like my kids out of the videos. Yeah. Yeah, new trendy thing or big model. Yeah. Very, very YouTube algorithm based. In counterfeiting of mongoose fur and labeling as a Klinsky sable. Wow. I don't watch a lot of painting YouTubers. And that sounds bad as someone who's like trying to get into YouTube as a painting YouTuber. But I do it a lot. A couple people I follow, I still like Zorpazorp. Zorpazorp does clickbait really bad, but he's also like, I don't know. He's super funny and like obvious about it when he does the clickbait stuff, but he makes incredible builds. And all around seems like an awesome dude, and he plays the games that I play. So, that keeps me sticking around with Zorpazorp. Uh, he does, yeah, he does complain about his channel, which he moved to a new country and like he's struggling, but it's yeah, I I get it. He does. He complains about his channel going under all the time. Yeah, I love seeing the stuff he builds though. He's doing a Helm's Deep build and it's gorgeous. Yeah, there are a couple smaller YouTubers that I subscribe to that do their like terrain stuff or general painting things. Getting these little arm vent pieces. Alright. Go us an old world. Okay. There is a lot of differences between Age of Sigmar and Old World. So setting wise, the Old World was around first as Warhammer Fantasy. Games Workshop nuked Warhammer Fantasy and installed the Old World so they could have complete copyright control over everything in the setting. They're both like high fantasy. Age of Sigmar is like high fantasy on acid and like the craziest psychedelics you could ever imagine. Like the lore in Age of Sigmar is so off the wall. Like it's to me it's off-putting. It's just really wild. Like there's no like it's like there's like physical space, but there are realms that are connected by portals, and there's like the realms of light and realms of, you know, it's just all kinds of crazy. It's like post-apocalyptic fantasy. Like the world was literally blown up, and this is like thousands of years later, where random dudes in the setting that were popular characters became gods, and like physical space is like not a thing, but it is a thing, and it's crazy. An acid trip on steroids. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Age of Sigmar. Like the elves ride kangaroos, and wood elves have hooves, and the dwarves fly in blimps, and space marines are there, but they use hammers instead of guns. The old world is a much more grounded high fantasy, so the map of the old world looks a lot like the world, like the real world. The fantasy elements in it are much more based on classic fantasy elements. So if you're like, hey, that's a dwarf, like I understand what dwarves are. Like they go underground, they mine, they're really stubborn, they hold grudges, they like to drink beer. Axes and crossbows are really cool to them, and they don't ride horses. Like there you have a dwarf. They do all those things. It's also like ratcheted up to 11. Right, like the setting itself, there's a ton of like crazy Warhammer-esque things that happen, where everybody's kind of a bad guy, everybody kind of hates each other, you know, there's a reason for all the factions to fight each other, that whole thing. But it's a lot more grounded in a thing that I think is easier for a normal, like nerdy person to understand. Yeah, Warhammer Fantasy is much more Tolkien inspired. Obviously with its own like crazy flair in there. We're gonna end up, I think we're gonna paint this pink, but we're gonna wait on that. Just doing little armband things. We gotta look up some stuff on how I painted these. As far as the gameplay goes, some of the minis do overlap depending on the factions. The old world is much more limited in its factions because it's like a rebranding of an old game that was out of production for 8 or 9 years. They uses square bases, and it's rank and file instead of round bases in a skirmish style where all the minis are kind of loose from each other. Yeah, the old world is classic Warhammer Fantasy. So you rank your models up, you have regiments of soldiers, you know, outflanking your opponent and charging in the flank is a big deal. Much more grounded game. The minis can overlap. I'm playing Vampire Counts, which is like the undead and like Halloween creatures in the old world. And most of my minis I got from Age of Sigmar, from Soulblight Gravelords, from the Night Haunt, and from the Ghoul faction, the Flesh Eater Courts. They all kind of were once just vampire counts and then broken into 3 different elements. Some of the classic minis still exist, and some of the updated ones work really well with the old world. Most of the factions, the main factions in the old world, don't really have minis they can pull from Age of Sigmar, but they have their own lines of minis that exist in the old world. We talked about this Sunday, where GW is breaking apart their lines so they can take up more shelf space in independent retailers and push out smaller companies. It's their monopolistic tendencies that they're using. Slaves of Darkness, yeah. Slave of Darkness is a faction that worked really well in the Old World as well. Of course, the Old World, yeah. That's fair. Old World doors are really cool. Yeah, Slaves of Darkness are the same thing as Warriors of Chaos in the Old World. So you can put them on round bases, and then there's square conversion bases that exist for like prints and stuff that you can buy, and you can use those minis for both. Spreads that are vampire werewolves. Yep, you got to play the Old World for that, Professor Grimm. You got to do. It's that Underworlds box is the only one you're gonna get, right? That's like pure vampire, pure vampires. Yeah. Yeah, Warriors of Chaos are one of the main factions in the Old World too. So they have a lot. They have a lot going for them. They're really cool. Oh man! All right. Drink water here. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I love classic vampires, and like having all the vampire like animal mix stuff that goes on is frustrating. Especially when I genuinely like the Soul Black Gravelords minis, like on the whole, but like the worst is the Vengorians or whatever, the big like monster, like half like dragon monster, half vampire, like big vampire guy monster thing. I hate it. I have 2 of them. We'll never. I plan on selling those eventually, but all right. Let's see. Coat of pink on these guys. We finished the blue. Good stuff. We have purple, black, and pink to work on these guys, and some yellow eyes, and they're done. And then we base, and we put on little fun, bright base tufts, all those kind of things, and they're done. Chaos in the Old World. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Chaos in the Old World is super cool in particular. Like, they're very much like end times, like the threat from the north and everything. It's cool. Yeah. Misfit, you can also look up Total War Warhammer, the PC game. Total War Warhammer 3 is like the current one, and they actually combine, there's a whole thing that combines all 3 games, all this stuff. The first 2 games are just DLC for the 3rd game at this point. But that is the setting of the Old World game. So when it was, Warhammer Fantasy. So if you want to feel for the factions and the units and how they play and like how the cultures work and all that stuff, Total War Warhammer is your gateway into that pre-Age of Sigmar type thing. Oh yeah, Chaos Warriors painted the colors of the patron god. Yeah, it was great. Yep. I have some old Chaos Warriors. I have one that's painted blue. It was like my first time dealing with like highlighting, like actually highlighting and stuff. Great. You're a WoW player? Really? Did you not like the setting because it's different from World of Warcraft? Warcraft was based on Warhammer. Just want to tell you that. There's a whole story behind it. But I played WoW, and Total War Warhammer was my jam. Still is my jam. Got a new DLC they just announced today. They put out the trailer for it and everything. Popped up. Oh, nice. Got next to Underworld warbands. Okay. That sounds about right, Grim. You got a lot of painting to do with those. Dang. The Mason Shield one, yeah. No, none of us are surprised. Any of us who know Grim, we're not surprised that he has the Underworld. Yeah, very different game. That's fair. I'm a big RTS fan, like strategy fan. So, yeah, I love that aspect of like the 4X type games and like turn-based games. The RTS stuff is like the worst part for me. I like the Empire management. That's fair. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call stream there. Got a whole bunch done. So, like 1.5 colors. So thank you guys. Thank you for sticking around while I did all this stuff, and hopefully didn't bore anybody to death. Of Old World? Yeah. Yeah, dude. I paint my vampire accounts occasionally on stream, so it'd be great to have more old world players to talk about the game with. Um, yeah, you guys have a great day. Have a wonderful holiday if you're celebrating. Just have a wonderful week, everybody. I hope you guys eat way too much food and enjoy your time with your friends and family that you have, and that you're able to have. Uh, but yeah, I will be back on. I'm thinking Sunday night should be appropriate. And we'll be painting. I'll find something fun to paint. A personal mini. I'll have to prep something and get it ready. We'll have something fun to do. But you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will see you all very soon. Bye, everybody.